Hey yo, football fans, it's another great year. Fantasy football fiends, grab your beer. Giving you the best draft tips for all your picks. Starts and sits to the waiver wire fix. From my drafts galore to stats that's hardcore. Triple F does it all, have y'all screaming more. So sit back, relax, let the experts prevail. JT Magnum, Siggy Guns never fail. What's up, fantasy football fans? My name is JT Magnum here along with Siggy Guns. Welcome back to Fantasy Football Fiends Top 30 Ranking Show. This one we're doing the wide receivers. We did the quarterbacks and running backs prior, and now we're going to do these wide receivers. So let's get it started right away. Who's your 30 through 26 for wide receivers? This was hard, by the way.
Vince, this was very hard, by the way, because it's a lot of these receivers can be higher, lower than. I mean, it just depends. I mean, yeah. We're gonna have a completely different list. I'll tell you that right now.
All 30 on the all 30 on our list could probably get 1,000 yards. Isn't that crazy?
Yep, pretty much. It is that crazy. A lot of receivers this year. Vincent Jackson, Allen Robinson, Deshaun Jackson, Eddie Royal, and Charles Johnson. And I'm going to talk about Allen Robinson. You hit it up. Blake Bortles having a tremendous preseason, and if they're going to be doing this where it looks like they're throwing a lot. I mean, he threw 245 yards in a half, or not even a half, I think. A few plays he was already throwing 245 yards. Whatever it was that he threw, Allen Robinson got a big bulk of it, and he's the healthy receiver. He's their guy, and the other one on the other side is pretty good too. And I just think that the offense, on paper, looks pretty good. It looks good, and I think Allen Robinson is going to surprise a lot of people. And somebody has to catch all these balls, and it's going to be him.
Yeah, for my 30 through 26, I have Devin Funchess, Jeremy Maclin, Devontae Adams. A lot of people are going to be crazy or go crazy about my Jeremy Maclin there at number 29. But Devontae Adams, 28, Keenan Allen, 27, and Allen Robinson as well at 26. And I'll talk about Devontae Adams. A lot of people are, going to pick him up because obviously Jordy Nelson went down. And this is the guy I think is going to have a pretty big season. He actually could move up even more, I think, if it wasn't for Jeff Janis coming on as of late. So Jeff Janis might be looking like he's going to get a lot of catches as well for Green Bay. And you never know with Aaron Rodgers. He throws to everybody. So I just think Devontae Adams is the guy that could possibly get 900, 800 to 1,000 yards and about 7 touchdowns receiving. He's not Jordy Nelson good, but he's good enough to get good yardage and be a nice wide receiver 3 or somebody you sub in here and there for certain matchups. All right, who's your 25 through 21?
I have Josh Brown, Jarvis Landry, Brandon Marshall, Devontae Adams, and Nelson Aguilar. Is that how you say it? Aguilar?
Aguilar, yeah.
I'll talk about Brandon Marshall because I have him pretty high considering, I even think he's going to be a bust. So this is a bust for him, though. I mean, I have him at, 23? This is somebody that usually is in top 10 receiver every year in fantasy. I think what's going to keep him valuable is that he's going to be the target for the end zone, for the red zone. Jason Morrow's out, tight end. He was expected to be that kind of role. I know Ivory's probably going to try to punch it in and stuff like that, but Brandon Marshall's real good around the goal line. He has a knack for catching those kind of things, and he's just somebody that's a big body, and a lot of people really can't stop him when it comes to that. And now, especially since my boy Revis is back on our side, Marshall doesn't have anything to worry about, that division as far as cornerbacks trying to stop in the red zone. So I think Marshall's gonna have a lot of touchdowns still. He's somebody that's still gonna probably get 10 to 15 touchdowns. He might not get his 1,200 yards and 100 catches that he normally gets, but he should be somebody that can be very serviceable fantasy-wise.
My 25 through 21 is Martavis Bryant, even though he's missing 4 games. Charles Johnson, Larry Fitzgerald, and Michael Floyd together because I think basically those 2 players are going to equal out. And 21, Brandon Cooks. I'll talk about Brandon Cooks. A lot of people have him ranked really, really high, like really high. And I don't trust Brandon Cooks in that way. I think he's a good receiver. I think he's very fast, ridiculous speed. But for some reason, this guy just is not like a durable enough wide receiver. And I think when he goes over the middle, it's not a guy that's going to go over the middle and get you the catch because he's going to get popped. And when he gets popped, he's going to go down. He's just one of those type of wide receivers that I don't trust in that sense to be that kind of possession receiver. So, and he's a short dude too as well, which, you know, he's good for slot, good for deep throws, but like I said, I don't see him as that possession type of receiver like a Marquez Colston, which gets you extra yards, extra catches during the year. So who's your 20 through 15?
20 through 16, Keenan Allen, Julian Edelman, Amari Cooper, Jeremy Maclin, and Emmanuel Sanders. I'll talk about Maclin, the guy you hate the most. I have a feeling, I know you're going to call me crazy here. I have a feeling that Kansas City's offense is going to be awesome this year. I don't know why. I got a feeling Alex Smith is actually going to be throwing 250-plus yards, and I think Maclin is not going to be like Dwayne Bowe, where he's just kind of lazy, lofting out there, not really paying attention, because that was Bo's problem. He never paid attention. If he would have just turned around when he was after his route, he would have had a ball right there, and he just never did it, it seemed. And I think Maclin is somebody, obviously he's played with Reed before. I think I think there's just enough chemistry there for, you know, the team now offensively to do some things, especially now that they have somebody they can trust. So I think they're going to be good. I think Macklin's going to be a good player. I think the whole offense is going to be good. We'll see.
My 20 through 15 or 20 through 16 are Doug Baldwin, Golden Tate, and Doug Baldwin, because I think he's going to benefit from Jimmy Graham being there. Golden Tate, Julian Edelman, Emmanuel Sanders, and Deshaun Jackson. I'll talk about Deshaun Jackson. He's got, you know, Kirk Cousins throwing him the ball now, and Kirk Cousins had a pretty good time throwing him the ball. He actually gets the ball to Pierre Garçon and him a lot more than I thought RG3 did. And especially with those quick screen passes, which Deshaun Jackson thrives off of. So I really like him to actually move up this year and have a lot of good yards again. You know, when he comes back, I think he's not going to miss the start of the season with that shoulder injury. I know he rammed into that cart when he in the preseason or in training camp already. So look for him to break out again and do his normal Deshaun Jackson stuff.
I can't trust Cousins. I can't trust that offense right now. But for some reason, Washington just looks like they're going to have the worst team this year.
Yeah, you never know with them. Every year it seems like people are like, "Oh, Washington's improved. Washington's improved." And what do? They go like 4-12. It's like you never know with them. You know, they went out and they got some defensive studs this year. They went out and signed a bunch of people, but they didn't really do much with the offense. And I don't know whether or not they'll be able to do anything. We'll see how Cousins plays. It all comes to he looks a little bit more poised now than he did last year. Last year he was struggling, and probably with all the RG3 talk and all the mess going on. But now he's named the starter. He's named the starter for the whole season. So at least he's got confidence going, and we'll see how he does. But I don't think Deshaun Jackson's going to suffer. His numbers never seem to suffer from that.
Nope.
So who's your 15 to 11?
I have Golden Tate, DeAndre Hopkins, Mike Evans, Brandon Cooks, and T.Y. Hilton. I'm going to talk about DeAndre Hopkins. Brian Hoyer and Mallett, they both loved Hopkins, and they didn't even really play him much. But every time he was in the field, he was always open. This is somebody that, in my opinion, has one of the best route running skills. Like he gets exactly where he's supposed to go, where the safety or the cornerbacks, they're a few seconds late, it seems, every time. So he's always open where he's supposed to be. And obviously Hoyer would love that. Mallett would love it. They already picked Hoyer, I think, to be the starter. So I just think DeAndre Hopkins, especially with Andre Johnson not there, is going to have a pretty big season. Even though I don't really expect the offense to be that great, I think he would be good in that offense.
I have DeAndre Hopkins as well at 15. I have Andre Johnson 14. Mike Evans 13. I think his number is going to slide up just a little bit with Jameis Winston throwing the ball instead of Glennon. 14. 12 Amari Cooper, and 11 Randall Cobb. I'm going to talk about Amari Cooper. This guy is the real deal. He's another Odell Beckham, basically. Uncoverable, though. This guy in college caught 120 balls, I think. And he caught it from Blake Sims, the quarterback from Alabama, who basically he's not even really that kind of. I think he went undrafted. Like, he didn't even. There's nothing about Blake Sims that screams NFL quarterback. And Amari Cooper still caught 120 balls from him in an offense where they were keying on him. That people knew he was going to get the ball, and he still got the ball. The guy's just phenomenal. He's to me, he's a very uncoverable wide receiver, and he's going to showcase it this year. I think he's going to get a lot of yards, especially with Michael Crabtree on the other side of him. So, you know, he's going to have to be the one to catch a lot of balls this year. Who's your 10 through 6?
Jordan Matthews, Alshon Jeffrey, Randall Cobb, Odell Beckham Jr., and A.J. Green. And I'm going to talk about Odell Beckham because I'm 7. A lot of people have been picking him 3, 4, sometimes as high as 2 I've seen. The only reason why I don't have him that high, and no, it's not because of Victor Cruz on the other side, although that is a factor also. I just don't trust Eli to, for some reason, every time you expect them to be like Victor Cruz is a perfect example. Victor Cruz had that year where he was tearing it up his rookie season. Everybody expected him to do fantastic the next year. Everybody drafted him, and for some reason, I don't know why, it looked like Eli Manning decided to throw to everybody else but him. I don't know if it's because of the defense. I don't know if he's outsmarting himself, etc. I know Odell usually would, he'll obviously you can catch one-handed and stuff like that. I know he can compensate for bad throws and stuff like that with Eli, but for some reason I just don't trust Eli. He's still going to have a very good season, don't get me wrong, but I don't have him that high. I don't think it's going to be that kind of season, not yet.
Yeah, my 10 through 6 is Alshon Jeffrey, A.J. Green, Jordan Matthews as well, T.Y. Hilton, and Demaryius Thomas. I think he's going to drop off just a tiny bit. And it's hard because these receivers, when we're saying drop down the list out of a top 5, they're still going to put up big numbers. Like ridiculous numbers.
Oh, yeah.
It's just that it's so hard to rank these wide receivers. And but I'm going to talk about T.Y. Hilton. You cannot teach speed. That guy is just ridiculous. And now that they have Philip Dorsett out there, another speedster, along with Dante Moncrief, they have Andre Johnson roaming over the middle, another guy that could still go deep. And they just have so many weapons. And who's going to benefit? You think his numbers will drop, but he's probably going to get more catches because of it, because they're going to spread that ball all over the place. I think everybody's going to have fun in Indianapolis this year, and T.Y. Hilton is going to be the leader of that pack. Yep. He's definitely the main guy, the main focal point there in that offense. He's the Antonio Brown of the Indianapolis Colts. So we'll see what happens with him, but I like him this year. I like his numbers. I like his chances getting even better because of the other wide receivers they have on the team now. Who's your 5 through 1?
I can see it. Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones, Dez Bryant, Demaryius Thomas, and Antonio Brown. And I'm going to talk about Antonio Brown again. I picked him last year to be my top receiver. I'd had him as breakout of the year player, and he topped everything that I expected him to do. This year, I don't really expect him to top those numbers, but he should still get 120 receptions. He should still get 1,500 plus receiving yards. He should still get 12, 13 touchdowns. Let's just face it, the guy is incredible. He can catch, a 5-yard pass and turn it into an 80-yard, reception at the end with his yards after the catch is ridiculous. His speed, his route running, his vision. I mean, the guy has it all. He's a total package where you don't really expect it. I just think now with all the confidence that he has, he's going to be the man again. So I think he's going to be the top receiver this year.
Yeah, I have 5 through 1. I have Calvin Johnson, Megatron. Dez Bryant. I have Odell Beckham Jr. at number 3. 2, Julio Jones. And number 1 also, Antonio Brown. The guy is just ridiculous. And I'm talking about Julio Jones. He's back from injury. He was hurt all last year. He had like a messed up foot. He's been having all these kind of injuries the last few years. And this is the first year where he says he's completely healthy. He feels great. He's ready to roll. And even with those injuries, he was putting up 1,500 yards receiving. So imagine what he can do uninjured. The guy is another guy, uncoverable. He's even way bigger than Antonio Brown. Still fast, still strong. And he's very, very physical wide receiver. He can catch over you, catch around you, run past you, run around you. And I love Julio Jones. He's just another one of those receivers. He even in the preseason is already taking flight in the preseason, catching a lot of balls for touchdowns. So he's going to have a phenomenal season this year, as long as he stays healthy. So that wraps up the Fantasy Football Fiends top 30 wide receivers. Make sure you give us, your comments in the comment section. Let us know what you thought. Follow us on Twitter at JT_Magnum816 and at SiggyV. Make sure you go to MagnumSportsNetwork.com. That's our website. Check out our rankings there as well, plus other sports stuff. We're going to be doing our fantasy football show every Tuesday for the start of the season. Our start 'em sit 'em show will be every Tuesday. It's going to be early, but if things change, if lineups change, if somebody gets hurt during the week, go to the website. We will have updated rankings there, so that way you can check out that stuff there. All right. So we're going to do the next one. The next one will be the tight end ranking. Stay tuned for that. And so for Fantasy Football Fiends, JT Magnum and Siggy Guns, we out. Peace.